I'm injured. I must come off.
You will play, Mesut.
But my arm is severed.
Mesut, you must. Oh, hello. Welcome back, and welcome to a brand new episode of The Skelly
And the Turk. Right, guys, so yeah, welcome.
well.
It's been a couple of weeks since we've done one, and as you can see, we're coming live visual as well as audio. Hi.
How you doing?
So, yeah, so obviously last time we spoke, it was kind of like our Premiership roundup of the season so far. We're doing some sneak previews of kind of like what was coming up. Now, it's just before the international break.
So 6 games gone. We're coming up to week 7 now. So there's quite a lot that's happened. We've obviously covered most of it in the first episode. Now it's just obviously the last couple of games. Arsenal-Chelsea was a game that we were building up to. Well, no real need to dwell on that one.
There was no surprises.
No.
Same thing happened again. Mourinho outsmarted Wenger. Wenger was too honest. You know, Mourinho played a little bit dirty and just played to win, basically. And
yeah, as you can tell in our little skit just there, a few things have trickled out afterwards. We'll leave that for you to get. Yes. But now, obviously, we've just finished the international break. That's all done and dusted. For you big, die-hard England fans out there, commiserations for the rest of us.
We played. I know we just played awful, but the less said about it, the better. We got 6 points. Kind of wish I was Irish after last night. Absolutely crazy.
No, yeah,
so
it was fantastic. So you smashed Gibraltar. You do what you're supposed to do to the world's worst teams. You smash them off the park, and then you play a really difficult team. They had no right, and they got a really good goal at the end. You know, did they deserve it? Don't matter really. I mean, it was a fantastic. We were just watching it. We weren't particularly bothered until right at the end, and yeah, it was fantastic. That was probably the highlight of the international roundup, and that probably is as much as it needs to be talked about.
Enough said. It's time for the Premiership.
So we're finally back for the Premiership.
So happy that it is back, and you know we want the show to be a bit short this week, so we're going to kind of just get straight into it. Really, should we start with the fixtures first?
Yeah, let's start with the fixtures. What's coming up? So this week,
so we have. There's quite a few games this week where there's it's quite a good week. It's been quite a low scoring point season at the moment, and what I mean by that, I can't remember too many teams getting 70s or 80s. It's been very much 50-50, you know, occasional 60s. And I think the reason for that has been a lot of big clubs playing each other. So I think this week we've actually got a rare scenario where basically we've got a lot of big teams playing small teams, and then obviously that usually equals points. And to start with, I mean, we've got United away at West Brom. United are scoring goals. What do you think?
United scoring goals. They're playing West Brom. To be fair, West Brom are one of those teams at the moment. I don't know what they're capable of. I mean, are they capable of an upset, first of all?
Well, I think there'll be goals either way, both sides. So I think even if you have a West Brom player, I think that it's worth keeping them in. I think a lot of the time you'll drop them. Oh, they're playing United. We better drop our West Brom player.
Yeah.
Keep them in. Keep in Brianio. I can't even say his name. Brianio. And you know, keep in Brunt or whoever else is playing. So yeah, I think that's.
They will concede, Man United. That's the point. They'll score goals. I think.
There's a possible captain choice there, I guess, with your Di Marias and your.
Well, that's it. That's what I was trying to think of. Richard is already setting the mark with Di Maria. You know, a lot of his points you say will come from his Chelsea players. Well, if you look at him, a lot of his players aren't players that everybody's got. Like I touched it last week. His captain choice of Di Maria one week was insane, and Di Maria the games just gone before the international break, he got a goal and assist again.
Yeah.
He's very expensive, but the man is world class.
He's hitting the ground running. So
and Van Persie's starting to score again.
Van Persie's scoring. Rooney's still suspended, I think.
Yeah,
so
I think Rooney's
like I said, Falcao's still there as a possible choice. So
yeah, he scored the other day. Is that going to be the start of him now? So
I think it could be. I think they play that class is eventually going to come through, and it's coming through quite soon. And I think they're a very exciting team going forward. So points there. Another sort of big team versus small team that we've got as well. Chelsea away to Palace. So once again, keep your Chelsea players. Quite a large chunk of players had Fabregas and Costa at the beginning. Now we're getting people like Barnsley, of course, who come up with his hazardous decision, and it paid off. And he's doing very well now. So there's quite a few there. Possible clean sheet. I'd say they're more likely to get a clean sheet than United are. So,
absolutely.
So if you get a defender,
it's a London derby, but for some reason I just don't think Palace are. Well, they're not. They're not the same team that they were under Pulis, where you could think that could be a competitive game at Selhurst Park. Pulis will almost try and out-tactician Mourinho, and not many managers can, but he was fabulous at Palace last year.
Warnock, I don't think, has got quite the tactical capability to even match.
So if you want,
Mourinho,
I would go with, if you had the money to spend and they're all expensive, I would go for a Chelsea defender all day long, because it's not a banker, but as close as a top team banker you can get. They've got the best defence in the league.
Exactly. I've got Cahill this week, so that's somebody I've got.
Yeah,
in mind.
I've got my goalkeeper. Thankfully, I was a bit worried, although
he's
I was
not injured anymore. Is he
he only had a mild concussion, so hopefully he's all right. So I'll keep him as my goalkeeper. Expensive, but they'll get your points. They'll get clean sheets.
Yeah, when every 2 games they'll get a clean sheet, and that's decent. So that's them, and then obviously the other big small team combo is Arsenal Hull. Arsenal, got a few injury worries. Is Welbeck even going to play? It says 75% play, and I think that means he will play. Wenger, well, as we've seen with what Wenger, the news recently, Wenger doesn't tend to rest, slightly injured players. So not injured players. So basically, I think Welbeck will probably play, although he might be tempted to go a bit no-go.
Oh dear. Another one is another interesting thought is Walcott. He's back. He's in full-term training. Is he gonna test him this week? I'm tempted. Because I had Mesut Ozil in my team last week, and obviously now with his injury, he's out for quite some time. He's a £9 million midfielder that comes out. Walcott is the natural £9 million midfielder to go straight back in.
Yeah.
The fact that he's been out 9 months,
I don't think he's going to hit the ground running. I think it's going to be I imagine he'll be a sub for a few games, and then it'll be kind of a bit like what United did with Falcao, where they sort of play 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, then eventually 90. So I don't think
ease him in.
You could get him in now to get him on the cheap, because people might be thinking the same, but I don't think you're going to quite get your rewards for another month.
I think so. You might. So
it's worth doing. It's worth doing.
It's
an interesting one. But you've got other players at Arsenal, like Sanchez should now obviously play. Ox, I think, is getting some game time. Wilshere, player of the season so far for me, in terms of Arsenal and definitely England, player of the season. So I think
he sort of stepped out of that shadow of Ramsey that was last year. So we always get a bit of stick from it. This guy in particular gets quite a bit of stick for his love of Wilshere, but you can't argue with the man at the moment. He's probably Arsenal's best player, and like you said, he's England's best player. Obviously another game that I just noticed here, I didn't really pop out at me until just now, is Liverpool QPR. Yeah. QPR can't buy a win.
So there's another one. There's another big small combination. There's another chance for those Sterlings and those Sturridges.
Sturridge is back this week.
Sturridge is rested. He wasn't injured. Well, he was not. He's rested. And Sterling didn't even play the second game because he was rested. So they should be quite lively, really.
Yeah. And then you got your other games that have got some decent players. You got Stoke versus Swansea. I picked that one because Sigurdsson had a magnificent game. Was it against Spain?
Yeah.
No, Holland. It was Holland.
Holland too.
Iceland. He's a fantastic player at the moment, and most people have got him because he's cheap. But he's literally carrying Swansea. He's not going to be long. Your Newcastle and Leicester. Well, you can't. Newcastle again, one of those teams that you just don't know where they're going to get a win from, and Leicester are playing fantastic. Not as great as they're away from home, whatever the Walker Stadium is called now, but
Lineker Stadium.
Yeah, something like that. I would go with a Leicester win there. So if you've got some Leicester players in, or you haven't, maybe that's a cheap option to look at.
It is. I think I think with that game, I could imagine if Newcastle don't win, that is probably going to be it.
Pardew's done.
Pardew. So
apart from that, you got your other good results, games you can pick. I don't particularly know any major games there apart from
City Spurs. City Spurs is quite a fairly big one, but you should City are quite ahead of Spurs. So I think
Arsenal's biggest problem last year was going away to clubs. The big clubs, we were getting hide-ins left, right and centre from the clubs we were going to play away. Spurs, it didn't matter where they were, home or away, they got hide-ins from the big clubs. Mm-hmm. So I can't say anything other than a really strong City win for this one.
And my 0-0 of the week.
Go on. Cheeky 0-0 of the week.
Burnley West Ham all day. That's just got 0-0 written all over it. I think Burnley have kept a lot of clean sheets, and I think West Ham they struggle when they're the team who has to go and be the dominant team. Exactly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
They struggle with that, so I could see that being 0-0 as well. So quite a few interesting. And I think this is going to be a big points week. Hopefully, and I think there'll be a chance for some people to get 30s, but some people to get 70s and 80s, and then that way we're going to get some.
It'll be interesting to see at the moment when Chelsea drop points. Because we've all got Chelsea players. Some people are relying on their Chelsea players a lot more. As soon as they drop points, and they're not going to drop points to the big clubs because Mourinho doesn't get out tacticianed by the big clubs. It's going to be the teams you don't expect. So these are the games that you think, how the hell did they lose that?
Yeah.
These are the games that cost them the league last year, and will they drop points to these games coming up? So it'll be interesting. The moment Chelsea lose is the moment teams such as myself, who's got quite a few Chelsea players, Barnsley, who's got 3 Chelsea players and he's captain is most weeks a Chelsea player. They're gonna drop, and that's where the other teams, the other players come through.
There's a bit of an unknown quantity as well, obviously, this week with the fact that we have had 2 fixtures of internationals and the fact that many internationals only stopped yesterday, wasn't it? Obviously, which was Tuesday. I think there might be some squad rotation there. So I think you might find a few of the bigger stars might get rested, especially with those games we were talking about, which were against minnows. I can see it. So there's a bit of uncertainty there, I think.
I can totally see someone like Hazard getting dropped for Oscar, Willian coming in.
Yeah.
These players that are their best players, but they're not going to play 38 games. It's going to be interesting, actually. Do you take that chance? Do you have a strong enough bench?
Well, I would have said and we were going to do this, I think if he plays, the player who I think will get the most points this week is Hazard. I think he's just somebody who's just coming to the form at the right time, and I think he will demolish somebody like Palace if he plays. So I think I've picked my player, Hazard. Yeah. I think he's the player who I think will get the most points. I think you're looking at 15 plus points hopefully for him. Well, I'm not saying hopefully because I haven't got him, so it'll just be Barnsley
stretching his lead. Yeah. My player, who I think, and just looking at fixtures, I think it's going to be Sturridge. I think Sturridge is going to come back. He's been fit for the last couple of weeks, so he's basically had a rest, and he's just been working at it at Liverpool. I think he's going to have a strong week against a ridiculous QPR defence. No offence, Rio, but I think Sturridge is going to just have fun.
Field day, absolute field day.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be my player. If you've got Sturridge, or you're going to put Sturridge in your team, I would be tempted to make him captain.
But okay, we should make this a weekly thing then. All right, so Hazard, Sturridge, who gets the most points. Maybe we'll do a little sort of tally chart, and we'll see who every week comes out on top, like basically.
Like the Loro predictor on the BBC website. We'll see what happens. But we'll every week or every time we try and do this, we're going to have players, and we're going to try and do a tally. Whose players got the most points? So hopefully, towards the end, we'll see whose picks have got the most points. That'll be interesting.
Okay,
right. Let's move on quickly.
Let's go to the league now. So the not the Premier League, because we talked about that last episode, and not much has changed really in terms of movements. I don't think we need to talk about that. But what obviously we do need to talk about is the BA Tipper League, which is getting tasty. It's still. Barnsley just still extending his lead. He's what 70? Does that say? Yeah, just almost 70 points in the lead now. And at what point does this become a person who cannot be reached? At what point is he?
If I seem to remember, this was the sort of year that Tipper last year he was stretching his lead, and
he was top most of the year.
Yeah, he was top most of the year. But then it come to around this time, coming up towards Christmas, after this international break, just get rid of that. and now we've got like a straight run in now till Christmas. So I think that's when the other teams caught up. These differential players kept making points. Like for me personally, last year, that I was the person that overtook Tipper towards the end of Christmas, and my player that was getting all the points was Kabai. I kept Kabai, and I kept a lot of faith in him, and Rambo as well. And I was just getting points and points and points. And it just eat every week 5-10 points, and by Christmas I was top. So although Barnsley looks comfortable at the moment, everybody else from 2 to about 10 is separated by no more about 30 points. So a really good week and a really poor week. So like I said earlier, if Chelsea lose and say I don't know the Boinging Baggies have a great week, like Joe got 70 odd points, 60 odd points this week. So if Chelsea lose and she picks players that don't, she'll just gain 30 points on Barnsley. So it's capable. I think
Tipper Barnsley.
Yeah. So I think Barnsley's the favourite. I think he's got something to prove this year.
Yeah.
He was sort of embarrassed by himself, I think, last year, the way he didn't perform as well as he would have liked. He's been outperformed by his dad for the last few years. So I think he's got a point to prove. So I think he's smart. Obviously, being a Chelsea fan helps, seeing they're probably going to walk the league. Yeah, I think Barnsley's
Barnsley's been very
No, and then he's been embarrassed, so you're up there, you're at the top, everyone's behind you, just how you like it, and let's move on
quickly there. So, Skelly, you're second.
I know, look at me. I've got this thing about being second, and the fact is I've had really bad weeks. I mean, I haven't got over 50 points more than maybe once or twice, but I'm there, and I'm always there or thereabouts. And that's the same with everybody. Like, who's the person behind me?
Scott Shaw.
By how many points? 8?
Yeah, 8, and then you go down another 2. It's Valerio. He's there. He's always there. He's a leech. He's the leech of the top half of the table. He's just always there.
Well, could I just add to just one point now? I think we just went across him really quickly. Who's Scott Shaw?
If anyone's got any information on Scott Shaw,
please just there's comments underneath.
Please like, comment, or subscribe. No, but basically, yeah, please comment. No, or if you are Scott Shaw, please
get
I
involved.
want to know just a few things about you, like what. I don't know, what's your favourite food? What's your star sign? Just stuff that we can just
what would you like in a romantic dinner? Things like that. That's
yeah.
The sort
if you were to eat any animal for the rest of your life and you had to pick one, what animal would it be?
Okay.
No, not to you. That's
okay. Okay. I was thinking there because I was going to say owl. I think they're quite nice. They've got big eyes and okay.
Ozil eyes.
Yeah, it's better than his leg.
So Scott, please, well done. It's great. I like it. I like the fact it's not just a normal. Well, it is pretty much the normal names, but there's a couple in there who are different. You obviously got me and my dad up there, and then you got Ridgie, Simon Dow's up there. So that's another guy who we're not sure about who he is, but he's up there. Boyne and Bag is obviously still.
I think, you know what, I'm so over the moon about that because she stuck with it last year. Her pride did not allow her to pick Suarez. Back up Suarez.
Yeah.
And she suffered. She suffered.
Yeah.
But this year, a little bit more even playing field. You've got so many more players to choose from, and they're all scoring, they're all doing well. And then she's bang up there in there. Took me down in the cup. There was no fluke about it. It was fantastic team picking, and yeah, I think it's fantastic.
She's been in the cup as well this season. Well, everyone's been in the cup, but she's doing. And hey, could we have our first ever female winner of the league?
Easy now. Steady.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sorry, Joe. But,
sorry, Joe. I mean,
you're there just to make up the equal rights numbers. The Yusuf family got the ethnicity thing down with Valerio. Obviously, got the non. UK resident, and then Joe's got the feminine kind of
the token chick,
the token chick, yeah. But even if you go all the way down to Tipper, who had an amazing week on 69, and he was what? Oh God, he's 40 away from second, and he's only 10th, 11th. So it's like I said, it's all, not much movement. But I think it's quite compressed at the moment with just that shining light of Richard Barnes just kind of away. So it'll be very interesting to see how it goes. But it's very early, and one, like I said, I think you said that. Steve Bolton, for example, got 79. Right, Big Steve. Right, that's my sister-in-law's dad, and basically Steve. Manchester United fan, die hard. Obviously, they did quite well last weekend, and that meant he got 79, and he's now back up there. But he was, I think, bottom 3. So it's just one good week can change everything at the moment.
Do you think that's something to look into? Just briefly, is that when your club does well, you do well. Now look at Barnsley this year. He's done really, really well. Look at me last year. I had a great season for the first half because that's Arsenal were having a great season for the first half. I mean, when you just turned around and said he's got, was it Steve Bowen's got 70-odd points?
79. Yeah.
79 points. That's when Man United had their best game of the season. So there's obviously, because you are more, not necessarily biased, but you know more about your own players. Yeah. You know what they're more capable of against other teams.
Yeah, absolutely. So you know which sort of games they might do well in. If you're somebody like an Arsenal fan or even a Chelsea fan, you know how the manager works. I think that comes into it. I think Barnsley will have, he'll know, okay, Mourinho, he's after this fixture, after internationals, what does he usually do? Maybe he won't make Hazard captain for that choice because he might know something about it. Yumi known about Wenger quite a lot, known who he might rest. But we wouldn't normally make Welbeck captain, but actually a bit of a risk.
He won't rest the unfit players, that's for sure. Yeah, he'll make sure he plays the players.
But no, I think you're absolutely right. Usually the form of your team does coincide. Joe's an example of that. West Brom have had a good few weeks actually, and that's why she's rocketed up, and that's why we're in the 4th place. Yeah, we're in that Champions League spot because that's where Arsenal are, and that's why Richard is top because he's a Chelsea fan, and that's why somebody like Denise is not doing that very well at the moment because she's very Liverpool.
If I'm not gonna, this is just a stab in the dark. I can't remember this, but I'm thinking it's Tipper Liverpool.
I think he is. Yeah.
So if that is the case and he is Liverpool, then if we're wrong, I'm not sure that you'd even watch this Tipper. But if anybody knows that we're wrong, please let us know.
It's quite funny. You've got the Chelsea fans at the top, sort of. I know Colin's not doing great at the moment, but he's a bit random with his choices. And then you've got people like you, my dad, me, Arsenal fans there, and then below that you've got people like West Brom, Liverpool.
And it's a great one. The teams that aren't supported in the league, someone like Ridgie, who supports Watford,
or Valerio,
they're there. Yeah. They're always there.
Unbiased.
So they're unbiased, and they just pick players and form. They don't have hunches about their own players.
Loyalty.
My hunch a few weeks ago about Welbeck against Aston Villa, I had a hunch because I knew that, I watched him, I knew what he was going to do, so I thought, let's whack him in as captain. Worked off. Those guys don't. They just look at it and they make calculated, unbiased decisions, and they're always up there. 2 and 3 last year in the league. Either one of them could have won it. Yeah. So that's interesting. That's another thing.
I personally think it's an advantage. To not support a team in it is an advantage because it clouds judgment. Of course it does. But, you can't help but be emotionally invested in your team. So
we have no right to think we're going to beat Hull, but we think we're going to beat Hull. Yeah. So we're probably going to go Arsenal strong.
Exactly.
So it's an interesting concept. So moving on next. So moving on.
Well, that's enough about Lee. I think we'll move on to the cup now. So the cups, God, we'll start from bottom again. Am I going to get any points? I'm currently bottom with 3 points. Even though I have...
Was that an opening day?
Yes, it was actually. That was opening day. So very much, I've just lost. I lost a tipper this week, and next week it doesn't get any easier because next week.
Oh,
who have I got? I can't see.
You got Kick-Ass United.
Who's Kick-Ass?
Is that Bolton?
Kick-Ass United.
I think it might be Simon.
Okay, so I might have an opportunity here.
Yes.
So. Simon Dowell. Okay,
Simon Dowell.
So hopefully my first 3 points, and I'm not out of the cup yet, so it's
far too early. You've got as many games as you in the league,
but I need to sort it out soon. But at the top, obviously, it's him again, the double champion.
He's going for an elite league and cup double.
Yeah,
don't get me
wrong.
We'll
have to create a new word for him, won't we? We'll have the elite players, and then for Richard, we'll have to have.
Because what do you get beyond elite? I mean, what do you class like your Messi and your Ronaldos? Because you have your elites, but then you have
just ultimate elite.
Well, super duper uber.
Let's get your suggestions on what that pinnacle of football.
Because then he would literally be a triple league winner and the possibility of a league and cup double, which has never been done in the history of fantasy.
And he'll win the league more times than anyone else as
well. So he will literally be out there on his own. Yeah. He'll be unprecedented.
Good word.
So that'll be interesting. Think what we should call it. If there's a word that you think should be above elite, what would it be?
What comes? Okay. Stromtulescent. Anyway, so
That's pretty amazing.
yeah, and then going down, obviously you are second again. So most, you know, for
At
most,
the moment, I think we're following the league format. I think.
apart from obviously the anomaly. Hello, anomaly.
But yeah, I think we're just following the league at the moment. I like it. There's everybody's in and about it. Barnsley's only got, but the thing is, it doesn't matter the points on this one. It's league points. It's your 3 points for your victory.
I'm bottom, but still 3 wins away from being in the qualification spot.
Yeah.
If fixtures go my way. So yeah, the cup's all to play for. The league's all to play for.
And I don't think we should take away one fact that you're still being very conservative with your team. You're not doing anything drastic. You have your wild card. Most of us have got Windlevars. I think his wild card is going to come to play in that Christmas period. Do not be surprised if he does a wild card at the beginning or mid-December just to get him through that massive congested fixtures, and then whacking one again in January, just to get through again those fixtures after everybody's broken after the Christmas period.
Yeah, I mean, I've investigated the Met Office kind of predictions for this winter, and it does look like we're in for a very, very cold Arctic winter. Yeah,
you cannot analyse this man. If you think...
So I think that's why I've kept the wild card, because I'm just hoping for everything. You know, hailstorms, sleet, snow.
Hope for the best, but expect everything.
Yeah, exactly. So hopefully the weather will go quite well for me, so I will keep it there, and that will become an advantage, and hopefully will gain me a good 50 points maybe in the future, which could be the difference between the second and first. But I'll be very ambitious there. But
so we've got we'll have a couple of more minutes just go through. Is any big games in the cup head-to-heads this week?
Okay, good show. Cup games.
So you like you say, you're already playing Kick-Ass United, which is Simon.
Yeah.
Hi to Simon.
Hi, Simon. Barnsley's against another beast, Haley Carter. So maybe we'll just, I don't know, because we could be here sitting about talking about people we don't know.
Pick some big ones.
So all right, there we go. Dirty Sanchez and so basically my brother and Colin is a very, very, very tasty.
Very talented.
I love it when Yusuf and Barnes get together. It's just magic. It's like Vieira and Keane. It's that kind of, yeah.
Rival. We were considering that your brother's already taken 2 Barnes scalps. He's going for the hat trick. He's taken the brother. He's taken the mother. Now can he take the big daddy?
It is, and that. So good luck to him, because obviously I want him to come up with the league, and so we can talk about my brother a little bit more. And
when he gets a bit more saying.
Yeah, and then obviously it's Denise and it's Valerio, which is another tasty little fixture. Both very similar positions in the league. I think Denise is a little bit below him, so I think Valerio is the favourite there. But once again, that's one that can go either way.
For me, I've got a nemesis of last year. I've got Call of Duty. Tipper. I'm not too sure about
last week. He thrashed me last week.
So let's just see now, because I'm sort of consistent at the moment. I'm doing about 50 odd 60 points. He's up and down. So that'll be interesting. Can't call that one. I haven't made my substitutions yet. Well, I'll make them towards the end of the week. Please, again, comment. What do you think your substitution should be? Who would you go for your captain? That'd be interesting, because I have no clue who's going to be my captain. There's too many good games, like we were saying at the beginning of the show. Too many good games and too many players you can think you are going to have.
I'm probably going to go Falcao. Who's your captain?
Off the top of my head, it's probably going to be Costa against Crystal Palace or Aguero.
No war. Pick one.
Oh, all right then. I'm going to go with Aguero against Spurs.
Very good. So Aguero, Falcao captains. So thank you. Yeah, thank you for listening. And obviously, we didn't get a chance to talk about differentials, but maybe we'll make that next week's topic.
Yeah, think about that.
So please, if
you've got anything you want us to talk about, please again put it in the comments. We really want to make this a weekly thing. We want people involved as much as possible. So please, if you feel that we've got anything wrong or you want us to add anything, please just let us know in the comments, and we will talk about it, because we want this to be as watched and as interactive with everybody as possible. Obviously, we'll have some special guests along the way when probably Barnes comes home for Christmas.
Yeah, and eventually we won't have to do this all in one take. So
we'll
edit.
We'll learn something how to edit. I mean, he's got a very good and IT savvy girlfriend, so hopefully some point she'll be able to show one of us how to use computers.
Yes.
Okay.
And hopefully make like avatars of ourselves or something who will present it for us.
Actually have a proper skit, some proper, Ant and Dec type thing. No, we won't. No.
Do you know what I say to that? Bye.
See you later.